Hey friends, well this is a very different video than ones I normally do, and hopefully I'll never do a video like this again, because this is the video where I talk about how I moved my entire library. Now, if you've been following me all these years, you know I love my books, and I have some pretty pricey books in my collection, as well as some beloved first editions that are all very tired and world weary, but still very much loved by me. So as someone who loves books, I take it very serious on moving them through two different very climates. I started out in Illinois, and I came to Tennessee in May. So in Illinois, when I moved, it was like 40 degrees and cold and rainy. And when I got to Tennessee, it was like 70 degrees and pretty humid. So the sudden change in temperature and humidity in particular can be take quite a toll on your book. So there's nothing I can do about that with the weather for you, but I can tell you how I boxed up and stored my books. Now, Suntup, my favorite publisher, and they're my favorite publisher for multiple reasons, but one big reason of many is that they ship all their books in form-fitted foam. So I've never seen another publisher do this. It really does protect the books. There's no better way to protect the books. Let's put it that way. Every book has its own box, has its own foam. It has all kinds of buffer areas. I've had boxes that look like they were used in rugby skirmishes, but the books came intact because that foam absorbed all that damage, and it didn't transfer it to the book. So Suntup does it right. And the benefit of that is when you get the Suntup book, you keep the box. It's a headache, I understand, but I found a shelf, a place in my garage where I stored all the Suntup books because I knew someday I was moving. And I would want to use those exact containers to protect the books on their final journey. And so when I did pack up to move, the first thing I did, the first books I boxed up were my Suntup books, each individual book in each individual box. And I knew the boxes the books belonged in because after I unbox them, I write the name of the book on the bottom of the box so I can always match it to the book. It's overboard. You have to have a lot of foresight, and you have to collect Suntup books in order to do that sort of hack, right? It's not really a hack, but in order to do that, you have to collect a very particular publisher and know that you're going to reuse those boxes before you move. So that said, I did the Suntup books. It was the easiest part of the move. Put them all in their boxes, stack them all very carefully on the floor, knowing that they're really not transferring the weight. You don't want to put a lot of weight on your books. There's a reason why they're individually vertically stored on a shelf, because there's no weight. The weight goes on the bottom of the boards. Sometimes it can pull the page block away from the spine on the bigger books, but that's natural and normal. There are ways to get around it. I'm not going to go into that right now. But when you put a book on its side and then you stack other books on it, oh man, that's a situation that you don't want to be in. So if you're moving your library, you have to be very careful. I followed a rule of 2 books per box, and I had the books wrapped in bubble wrap and then placed in a box with a lot of padding around it. And yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. I'm just sharing what I did and my personal experience, so you can either improve on it or read the comments below the video to see if I did anything bad, because sure enough, the collectors out there will say, Jeff, you doofus, why did you box it this way? And I will have some learnings from when I take the books out. I could see how they traveled, how they lasted. But that's one thing. So you got to put them in the boxes, and you can't put too many boxes on top of other boxes because, again, you don't want to transfer that weight. So how do you load them in the truck? Well, I had these metal racks, and I put these metal racks on the U-Haul truck, and then I put the books on, the boxes that contain the books on those racks. So there were never boxes on top of other boxes. You can visualize a rack, can't you? A big metal rack. And then I put the books on there. And then you can adjust the shelves, so I made sure there was only single rows of books. And then I wrapped that with plastic wrap to make sure during the move no books would fall off the shelf and get damaged that way. So I wrapped it with plastic wrap, and then I strapped the bookshelf to the side of the trailer, on the inside. Of course, not on the outside. That would be crazy. And to make sure that the whole rack didn't move back and forth. But, when you move, you pack those trailers so tight, there's no room for it to fall. But more precaution than less is how our collections endure. Moving it was kind of crazy, and I did have to rely on a lot of old shipping boxes from publishers. I buy direct from publishers, and they always know how to ship books, so I had a lot of packing peanuts laying around. I had a lot of old boxes that books were shipped in, but you only have so much because I don't save all the boxes. I've also sold a number of books, and I use those boxes to ship. So I did go to Costco, and I bought bubble wrap, cushion wrap. Now, and I'll show you when I unbox, but I would take 2 books, and I'd wrap it this way with bubble wrap. So I'd hold it, and I'd wrap the books across the cover, and then I'd wrap it vertically. So horizontally around and then vertically around, so that every edge of every book was covered with bubble wrap. And then you place it, you want to place it in a box with a lot of paper, so that if there's any kicking or bumping, that there's a little bit of give, and it's not a direct transfer of impact from cardboard to book. But another thing is, I knew I wasn't sending the books through the mail, so I'm the only one handling the book. I'm the only one who will put them on the shelf, take them off of the shelf, bringing them in the house, so I can be pretty sure how the boxes are handled. So I can be a little more, I can take a few more risks in the packing and put a little less around the edges. But if you're using movers, or if you have someone help you unload the truck, family members, again, the watchword here is more protection than less. So I had to go about it that way as I moved. I moved 9 hours through crazy thunderstorms. It was more like 10 and a half hours. The books so far are beautiful, pristine condition, and I cannot wait to get them on the shelves. Now, moving into a new house, you might not have the shelves you used to have. I did bring my bookshelves. These are not ideal. These are not the shelves I want to have long term. But they are good shelves, and they're clean shelves. I wiped them down. I made sure there wasn't any dust, and they're ready. And they're ready for my books, and I'm ready to put my books on there. So just like I started with the packing, I'm going to start loading my shelves with the Suntup books, because that is the collection, that is the part of my collection that has the most value and needs to be handled with the most care. So I'm actually not going to use these shelves. There was a bookshelf that came with the house that's going to work pretty good. Again, not a long-term solution. It's a fine shelf. It's not ideal, but it's a good shelf for now, because I really do want to get the books out of the boxes. You don't want to leave them in a container for too long. Some of them are in plastic, and with the difference in moisture in the air between Illinois and Tennessee, I am concerned that if there is trapped moisture, it's with the books. So I need to get them out of the boxes as soon as possible. So we can't wait for Ideal. And I do want to see the books. I haven't seen the books in like 3 weeks. So cut the dude some slack here. I want to get them out so I can enjoy them again and get them out of the possible situation where they might have too much moisture. And then somewhere down the road, I'm going to get the Ideal shelves. But, one thing at a time. I'm living around boxes right now, so let's just get these books out. Currently, this is my huge stack of books. I got them all piled up. Mostly Suntups in the middle there, and like I said, that's what I'm going to start with. So this is the shelf I'm going to use for my Suntups, and the reason why is I love how it's uninterrupted. I have a running collection of matching numbers. So I have number 23 for the Suntup books. I also have artist editions. And I like to organize them by order of release or announcement. And if you go to the Suntup site, you'll see that order on their homepage. It's just what some Suntup collectors do. I don't know if they all do it. A lot of people do just alpha by author on their collections, but since I have such a large matching set of the same number, I like to see it all running together. And I think this should incorporate all my Suntup books. It's also a bookshelf that's on a wall with the window, and there's no window opposite, so it'll never get direct sunlight, so there won't be that fading. There are no fluorescent lights in here. It's pretty much protected from those sorts of elements. And I have this very temperature controlled room, so this is ideal. The shelf isn't ideal, but I do love how they fit and how there's no interruption. Now on this shelf, there are these dividers here. I hate them. I really do. And all this ornate crap makes it impossible to actually store books without damaging them. Sometimes you have to kind of work the book in the shelf, and that works against it. I don't know what you get for those extra things. I do like these shelves for my king trades, so that's what I used to use them for, but now that I have fewer shelves than I did back in Illinois, I have to make do with what I got. So I'm going to make the most out of this, and I'm going to start stocking it up right now because there are 2 Suntup books that are oversized that won't fit on these shelves. They're going to go on top along with some books from Cemetery Dance that are also oversized. So I'll put those on top with book ends for display, and then the rest of my numbered Suntups will go on these shelves. Now you might have already noticed that I had Blood Meridian and Butcher Boy on the shelf. Butcher Boy I just unboxed, so that didn't travel the same way the other books did. And but Blood Meridian and Exorcist I just had to peek at. Once I got here, I was so paranoid about the book's conditions and how they endured the trip that I had to get those 2 books out to look at them. So those were pre-unboxed before this video, and I think you'll understand. See, now this was a book that I put back in the plastic wrap, and with the change in humidity, that could have trapped some moisture. So it's a good idea to get it out of the shrink wrap or plastic wrap as soon as possible. So those unfamiliar with what I was talking about with Suntup, this is what I did. I wrote Haunting of Hill House on the bottom of the box, and this has been stored since I got Haunting of Hill House back in 2018, 2019, and it really came in handy with this move. So you've seen me do this countless times. This is a regular unboxing, and this is the book. Now look at that thick foam. That was such thick foam for such a slender tome. But you can see I reboxed it the way I got it. And I never kept these shipping containers with an eye on selling later. But if you do want to sell your Suntups later, it's awesome. It's a great thing to do to recreate that Suntup experience by keeping the box and the foam and whatever extras came with the book, so that your customers can feel like they bought direct from Suntup and get that VIP treatment. But yeah, I didn't buy it with that in mind. And here's Haunting of Hill House, unboxed for the 2nd time on this channel. One of my most prized Suntup books. And it'll be the first up on the shelf since Misery is oversized, and that's going to go up on top. So this kicks off all of my Suntup numbers. Just so you know, if you're wondering what this was, This was something Paul included so that you could shelf Haunting of Hill House comfortably with this keyhole. It's called an escutcheon or something like that. I don't know. But it comes out just a little. There's a bump out on the book. You could see how it comes out. And that causes a problem if it's bumping up against the other book. So Paul thoughtfully included this spacer element that goes right around that and closes the distance so that you could shelf your book without damaging other books. Another reason why I've been such a Suntup believer for so long. So this is as far as I could take my Suntup collection right now. I need to leave spaces for arcs that appear. But up to now, this is the Suntup collection. It's all contained right here. I love how it spans, even if I'm not crazy about the shelves. I think it does some good to see. Well, it does a world of good to see them out of the boxes and living their best shelf life. On to other books. So with the rest of my collection, I organize by author. These shelves actually demand that I organize by size rather than alphabetize, because these allow for the oversized editions while these are more trade editions or smaller sized books. So I can't put my large Ghoul in the Cape on this shelf. I have to put it up here along with my bird box. So I'm going to start these out, this top shelf out with my Josh Malerman collection. A lot of my SSTs will fit really nicely here, so my Tremblays will go around here, and then I'll have my David Wongs and my other Trade Kings dispersed throughout the shelf. So I don't organize any other publisher by themselves like I do Suntup. The other publishers are intermingled. So if I have a King that's a trade, I'll put those together. But then the limiteds, I'll have Lividian, Cemetery Dance, and PS Publishing will all be right next to each other. That's just me. You organize however you want. But I'm just sharing, why I went that route. So let's get into this. I'm going to start opening these other boxes. In a lot of cases, I don't know what's in them, but we'll have at it, and then I'll start populating the shelves. Maybe that'd be cool, won't it? So here's a good example of how I boxed books that weren't Suntup books and didn't come in their own contained box. So I used packing materials from publishers who sent me books, and I kept them, and because I knew the move was coming, and I repackaged my current library in here. So I used all my materials, and I only did a few books, and in this case 2 books wrapped together. They do share the bubble wrap. I didn't have that many bags to go around, and so I put these 2 in the bag together, and I put it where I taped it so there was no moving around. And then of course the books were in with all these peanuts. So I do recommend you keep, and these are not moving, so there was no friction between the books because the tape, I don't know if you could see it, I did tape the books into place to hold them solid. Also, I did have boxes like these. These were shipping boxes we had laying around. And I don't remember how we got these, but these are perfect for big single volumes at a time. And I just marked Bird Box, which is kind of funny because I have 7 editions of Bird Box, so I don't know which this is or if this is multiple books in here. But you can see I had the box, and in the box, the bag. And the bag was sealed here, so it's almost worthy of shipping, but not quite. I'd want a little more protection than that. But again, since I was handling these books myself and I knew the chain of custody would never be too far from me, I could take some liberties. So here we have the books are also in a bubble wrap bag and then in a bag. So I have a few copies of Bird Box in here. Looks like the trade edition, the ARC, and the SST edition. All shipped beautifully, wonderfully, no damage. I'm happy. So I'm going to leave it here for now. There's a lot I still have to go through, but you see how the shelves are stacking up. And I don't necessarily want them to go this way, but I think I'm going to have my Malermans up here. I want my Thomas Oldehuvelt and my Sarah Pinboros together, my Joe Hill collection. But it's a little all over the place. I got my Robert McCammon up there because Swan Song's way too big for other shelves. And Dune up here, again, because of the size. So I'm going to have to go through these. I have a lot of trade editions I haven't gotten to. I got to find my Wet Juju and Gothic Wounds. I'm a little nervous. I don't see those yet. But I wasn't the most organized with my labels. I got my entire Dark Tower set, and I decided that my Suntups are going here, and as well as my oversized Cemetery Dance Kings up on top. But I think I'm going to put my King Limiteds on this shelf as well, because I think they fit real nice. And they come in second to Suntup, so they could deserve the same honor of being on the same bookshelf. And I get to decide that anyway. But there's a lot to go through. I have huge messes of boxes that are making it difficult for me to sort through what remains. So I'm going to clean up and get back to it later on. And just in case you needed proof of the mess, this is all the bubble wrap that was around the books. Here are piles of empty boxes and other piles of empty boxes labeled. I still have some trade editions. I've got a box up or shelf up, but for the yes, I did pack books in an Ego box. I sure did. So got a lot to go through. Oh, there's my Strange Weather, right there. So I'm gonna put them all. I'm gonna unbox them all and get them organized. So up top, what you'll see are my signed King editions and some oversized Cemetery Dance, and then my Suntup numbered and artist editions as promised. So there's my whole Suntup collection. This is like my whole world right there. Is that Butcher Boy lettered right there on a humidor? And then there are my Grant editions, which started this addiction, and some PS Publishing. And Lividian makes appearance there. Oh, what do we got there? It's some Malermans. Tennessee whiskey. And then there's some McCammons. Oh, is it Dune? It's saucy. Oh, and there's some Joe Hill, Lividian. And then there's some Thomas Oldehuvelt. Yes. And SST is there for the score. David Wong. Oh, you can't go wrong with Wong. Oh, and then you got some Lansdale. Oh, Polinick with the hand sticking out, giving you the finger. movies and SST and Grady Hendrix and Vandermeer, and the movies are back. That's a triumvirate of championship. Lansdale Centipedes. Oh, what are those? Those are the Cormac McCarthy's. We need to talk in a different tone when we talk about Cormac McCarthy's. And then there are the Fricasse's and the Barkers. And then we're back up there with the cemetery dance. So for now, that's how it all turned out. And I say for now because these shelves are just serving the purpose right now. I plan on upgrading the shelves at some point. But I'm happy with the results for now. See, it's very zen of me to be at peace with the moment until I wait for that better moment and plan for that better moment. I'm happy with this order, and I've got all these out here. I wish I had more room for my trade editions. Unfortunately, space is what it is. But I'm going to be updating these shelves throughout my time here, and hopefully I never, ever, ever, ever have to move a library again. That was very stressful. I don't want to do that. And I probably won't. So it's here to stay, and welcome to my library. Hopefully you stick around and enjoy how these shelves grow and evolve and find their own way in the world around this sun, around this crazy sun, as we journey on this dust ball through the cosmos and have a stout along the way. So that's it for now, and I hope I was able to help you if you had any moving doubts and fears, and you realize, hey, if that hairball can do it, I can't mess it up. That's my service to you, lowering the bar. So, have a book, have a beer, and stay frosty. Well, this truck once contained all my hopes, dreams, and future, and life, and everything was in there. And I drove, and you could see I was towing my SUV behind there, and I had everything in it that I owned, which I wondered, why did I own these things in the truck? Why did I own them? And why was I driving through thunderstorms at 80 miles an hour on like two wheels at a time with my children in the cab with me, white knuckle driving in the rain? But it was fun. And now I'm here, and adventure.